Feedback. Feedback is a great, great thing. For anyone out there who doesn't look for someone to give them feedback on what they're doing in all aspects, is really missing out in a huge opportunity. Feedback can let you in to see how other people are perceiving you. You see yourself in different ways. You don't necessarily see how other people are looking at you, what you're doing, your mannerisms, your tonality, your facial gestures, all that stuff. That's why video is a great thing to practice and to record yourself so you can see how you do things from an outsider's viewpoint. So getting feedback from people is a fantastic thing. And if you're open to it, you have to be open to it. Not everyone's open to it. In this day and age, you need to be open to it. Just like the internet allows people to really own the brand and change what they're doing and have a voice and everything, that's the same thing whether it's a brand or it's a person. You are a brand, so you need to treat yourself like that. And so how you treat yourself like that is very simple. Is that, when people are out there, ask for feedback. Not everyone's going to give it to you. Another great book called Who's Got Your Back, Keith Ferrazzi, fantastic guy. He also wrote to Never Eat Lunch Alone. Never Eat Alone. He is another great author. He talks about that in part of his book of Who's Got Your Back. But feedback is a huge, huge opportunity. You really just need to give it back. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was having an issue. And this is a good thing of why giving feedback is awesome. And I'm going to go back and digress for a second. So when you give them feedback, is not only do you want to get it, but you need to give it to people too. And you don't need to be an asshole about it, and you don't have to be rude. You can put it in a way that's nice and lighthearted, and just to let them know, I'm trying to help you out. And that's really what it is. And whether they like it or not, giving them honest feedback is a huge, it's a huge opportunity for them. And once you give it back to them and give it to them, it's up to them. You put the ball in their court, and they can really decide what they want to do with it and what they don't want to do with it. And that's up to them. However, when you're talking to people and you're giving feedback, so I'll tell you this story. A friend of mine, it was funny. I got this introduction from a gentleman that I do a lot of networking with, and he was very nice and is actually a potential prospect. And in the email, he kind of told me how to approach this person. And at the time, I was like, I don't want to be evasive. I don't want to give this person the wrong understanding or give him the wrong viewpoint of what I'm trying to do, and I don't want him to get the wrong impression. And I want to be upfront with him, as I would want people to be upfront with me. I don't like when people beat around the bush. However, he gave me the suggestion. He said, just get in front of him and then talk to him and then see how the opportunity unfolds. And I was very close-minded to it, I'll be honest, and I did it my way. And little did I know, and behold, what came about was that exactly what this guy thought was going to happen did happen. And the guy felt like I was trying to sell him, which was not really my intentions. However, I came off that way, and I learned a good lesson. So I had lunch with him. Fast forward, I had lunch with this guy, Steve, who introduced me to him. And we sat down and we had lunch. And as we were discussing, we were talking about him and how I could help him out and who were good prospects for him. And next thing you know, he starts to bring up this introduction and this scenario. And he got pretty passionate about it, which is rightfully so. And he didn't get upset. He was, got a little heated and passionate, but nothing that was over the top. However, it felt like he was being condescending, and that's how I was perceiving the situation. And so I told him, I was like, listen, I really do appreciate what you're doing. It's very helpful. I know you mean well by this. However, I'm perceiving this. You're coming off condescending, and it feels like I felt like, and I told him this, I felt like my seat was sinking and he was rising and he was speaking down to me, and I told him this, and he's like, he kept on, but he's like, listen, I apologize, and we talked through it, and we just ended up coming up with some great synergies of doing some speaking engagements. And the end of it, he was like, "Thank you, Brandon." He's like, I wasn't trying to come off condescending, and if I did, I apologize. And I said, you know what? I know you didn't mean it, and that's okay. And it was. And he's like, well, thank you. He's like, if you wouldn't have told me that, I wouldn't have known. And that's exactly the point, is that you need to tell people. Another quick story, a friend of mine, she's a good looking girl. She works in a certain type of industry, and I'll leave it just for privacy reasons. And she has a client who actually has been kind of in not such a really stalkerish way, but kind of stalking her in the sense where he's doing things that are making her feel uncomfortable, and she just doesn't know how to approach it because she obviously wants the business, but however at the same time she doesn't want to be a bitch to him, and because he seems like a nice guy, but he's doing things that are making her feel uncomfortable. And so I told her this story the same day that happened, and she actually told me about her situation. And I told her, I was like, listen, first of all, you really probably shouldn't be working, and actually not probably, you should not be working with somebody who's making you feel uncomfortable just for the business. That's not how things are in today's society. You have so many different options, and the market is so large that you can really pick and choose who you'd like to work with, and that makes your work life a lot more relaxing and less stressful, and you'll continue to love what you do. I digress. I told her, I was like, listen, you just need to be upfront with the guy. Be nice about it, but be upfront and be a little stern, and just tell him how you're feeling. And that's the honest truth, is that feedback helps everybody. And not only should you look for feedback, but you should give feedback back to all your friends and potential clients, and to everybody, really. It's a good thing. You don't have to be mean about it, and you don't have to be rude. You can be nice and just give it back. Contact me at brandon@peppergroup.com. Follow me at all the following. Thanks.